Actually. Welcome everyone to our second annual holiday movie reviews. And this time we're doing Love Actually. We both never seen it before, surprisingly. So we had a lot of requests for this actually when we were asking people, what should we review for the holidays? A lot of people said Love Actually, so we thought we'd just finally sit down and watch this thing.
Yep, finally bit the bullet and gave it a try.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those movies that's highly recommended, and it's kind of the story, it tells the story of 8 different couples at various stages of their relationships, with, you know, from young love to a budding romance to, you know, a failing marriage. Yeah. And so, Nate, how did you feel that they handled kind of jumping around from the stories of 8 different couples?
I thought they handled it actually surprisingly well. This is a lot of content to cram into one movie, and it is a longer runtime for romantic comedy of 2 hours and 15 minutes. But they need a lot of time to tell these stories. You do meet, you know, 8 couples right off the bat, and it seems like they structured it where, you know, you get the first act of all of them, and then it starts again. To the second act of all of them, then it starts again to the third act of all of them. And I think that some work better than others, but it can feel a little packed in.
Yeah. There were times where I felt like it was kind of jumping around a little too much, and I found myself trying to remember, you know, who, at what point in the story are they connected? Like, these people are loosely connected to each other. They kind of all come together at the end. But, I felt like it was a little bit jarring at times just to jump around. But once you got the exposition out of the way and you knew the story or kind of the path these characters were going to be set on, it flowed a little bit more. Like, at first it was jumpy, but as the movie went on, it got better. It started to flow one into the other. But I also found that it kind of made a little inconsistent in tone when it did that.
Yeah.
It went from, like, you know, an uplifting story to kind of a dour story to, like, you know, an inspirational story
to like pure comedy.
Yeah, kind of slapsticky almost at moments.
Yeah.
But I felt like eventually, as the story got better, as the movie went on, the story got better and the flow of it got better too.
Yeah, and I can't help but admire someone writing this entire thing and shooting it and having it work as well as it did. It seems like it shouldn't work this well, but it really does. You know, in the end, I think that they did a pretty good job handling so many stories all at once. There's a lot of actors in this. You like the performances across the board, or what do you think? Was there some weaker, stronger?
I really like Bill Nye as, like, the aging rock star, is, like, you know, just throws caution to the wind now and you know, just owns up to selling out. And I thought that his performance really stood out to me. There really isn't a bad performance in here. I think top to bottom the cast is pretty great.
I think so too. And this movie has a lot of British charm, and it has a lot of cheesiness as well. I think that this movie, like, packs in the cheese and the corn quite a bit. And I think a lot of movies in the early 2000s did this, where people don't really talk like this and people don't really behave this way. But it's a holiday movie. It's a feel-good movie, and I think that it's excusable, you know? Like, it's okay to just feel a little warm inside, you know?
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with an uplifting movie, and I will say that this movie is as cheesy as it is charming.
Yeah.
There are times where it's just like, all right, let's get a little too sappy, a little sentimental. But then there are lots of times where you're just watching it and you're just enjoying the story, watching these people go on, like, a journey of love. Yeah. But what would you say is your favorite story of all the 8 stories? What's your favorite?
I really like the story of Liam Neeson's character and his son was my favorite of his. His wife had recently passed, and he thought his son was really shutting himself off because he was grieving and everything, but really his son's in love for the first time, and he's 12 years old. Yeah. So I like that. I thought that story was, like, at least the most heartwarming for me.
I totally agree. The Liam Neeson story was my favorite, and I thought great performances overall, and it was the most uplifting, the most heartwarming story. Because there are some stories in here that involve adultery and things like that. So once again, it just kind of went in the inconsistent tone. Like, you went from that happy, uplifting story, and it's like, oh, this is the one about the failing marriage.
Bummer, yeah.
But I do like that they covered the spectrum of relationships.
Yeah.
From love, young love, budding romance, kind of like a forbidden love, you know, a deteriorating love, love after death. So it was kind of cool how they covered all the aspects of love in its, you know, different stages.
Yeah, it's aptly titled Love Actually because it does, you know, really give the spectrum of what love is as human beings and things like that, whether it's realistic looks or not. I think that it does cover it. But what's your least favorite then? What do you think the weakest story was?
Oh, the weakest story, hands down for me, is the Keira Knightley, Andrew Lincoln, Chiwetel Ejiofor love triangle one, where it's just that video. That wedding video that he shows, like the way he framed it, I mean, especially coming from filmmakers who know things about camera work and framing, like what was he ever planning to do with that video? Like it's all her and it's all just like, it looked like Mother to me, just like, oh, there's the actress's face throughout the entire thing.
And he doesn't ever want to show her or anyone else for that.
Right, so it's like it was for his creepy collection or what? And I mean, I know the whole part where he has the cue cards and he's talking to her outside. I know that's kind of iconic and, you know, parodied, and that was a charming part to it.
Yeah, I did like that part.
If I just couldn't get invested into it, I'm like, well, this guy's kind of a stalker, so...
He clearly has the video camera at the wedding, so everyone's probably like, where's the video, bro? Like, he wasn't being sneaky about it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, hey, man, I'd love to see what you shot that day. Goes, oh, no, I didn't shoot anything.
That was for me, so... Yeah, no, I can see that. For me, I think the weakest was the Laura Linney story arc. I think that, you know, I like Laura Linney and everything, and I understood her side of it and her responsibilities of why she couldn't really have love in her life because of her time being consumed with something else, but I just don't like the way she handled it. I think that she could have just been a little bit more honest, a little less cowardly, and I just, every time it got to that story, I was like, okay, let's get to the next one. So,
yeah, you didn't feel like she really went through an arc or like learned anything.
No.
She's just like kind of her old miserable self again. So
Exactly.
once again, that was just kind of one of the dour parts.
Yeah.
Buffs. All right, Nate. So we both gave our thoughts on this movie. You know, sounds like we enjoyed it more than we thought we would. So why don't you go ahead and give me your rating of it on quality scale 1 to 10, and then your holiday feel good scale on 1 to 5.
Sure. Yeah, I did enjoy this movie a lot more than I thought I would, and I think it's because I didn't really realize that it was so R-rated. You know, it is like more of an adult feel-good movie. You can't, you know, sit down with the kids and watch this one.
For the Martin Freeman scenes, which are excellent.
Very
For those
funny.
scenes alone, you can't show the kids this one.
But yeah, you can't. This is more of an adult-oriented movie, and I think that it benefited from the R rating. And yeah, I enjoyed myself, but it is flawed, it is crammed, and it is just slightly too long. But I would recommend it. So I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10 on the quality scale. You know, I liked my time with this movie. As the feel-good scale, I would say a 3 out of 5 because it does give you the warm feels, but it is more adult-oriented, so you can't really share this with the family.
Yeah, you can't gather everyone.
Yeah,
around.
it doesn't give you that family feel good. It gives you just the adult feel good. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm right there with you. A little bit higher on the quality scale, though. I'll give this a 7 out of 10. I was very surprised by this movie. I know I'd been recommended it over the years, especially around Christmas time, and just always came off a little too sappy and cheesy for me. Which it was, but once again, the charm outweighed the cheese. Mm-hmm. So on the quality scale, I'll give this a 7 out of 10. But on the feel-good scale, I'll go just a little bit higher and give it a 3.5 out of 10. I feel that, yes, I agree with you. You can't gather the family around for this one. But I feel like there are very heartwarming, uplifting stories, but then they're kind of dour stories. So, I mean, it is a little bit good to get the salty with the sweet sometimes, but sometimes the salty was a little too much.
Yeah. Buffs. All right, everyone, that wraps up our first review for the holiday season of Love Actually. Have you guys seen the movie? What do you think? Leave all your comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We do appreciate all the support.
And we'll be bringing you these holiday reviews every Monday, and next Monday we'll be bringing you our review for Trading Places. Not exactly a Christmas movie, but definitely a good comedy set around Christmas. I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too.
So we'll be bringing you that review next Monday, but until then, don't forget.
There's no place like the theater.